Okay, so we're looking at another couple of rules that we can use to find derivatives. These are called the product and the quotient. So the product is a multiply and the quotient is a division. Okay, so the product rule is when you have two parts to the function, but they both have to contain the variable. Okay, so for instance, like 2 bracket x plus 3, okay, has two parts, but they both don't have the variable. Okay, so in this particular one, we've got two things, and they both contain x. And with a quotient, it looks like a fraction. Okay, and both parts have to contain the variable. So x over x minus 1 both have x, but 2 over x minus 1 you don't use because this part here doesn't have an x. So for this one, you would use the chain rule, which you got in the earlier video. Okay, so copy and come across. Okay, so again we use these letters U, but now we're going to introduce the second letter V. Okay, this is just the traditional letters. So we don't have to worry about where they arrive from or derive from, so to speak. So when we've got two parts, U and V, what we do is we take the first part, leave it alone, and find the derivative of the second part, and then we add, leave the second part alone, and multiply by the derivative of the first. And sometimes it's written as uv dash plus vu dash. So first doesn't change, second derivative, second doesn't change, first derivative. Okay, and we're going to do some examples so you'll see what it looks like. So the quotient has two parts, u over v, and it's a lot more complicated. The first part is the letter on the bottom, so we have v, and then we multiply by the derivative of the first, and it's a minus sign in between, and then we put the first thing, the top thing on the top, the numerator, and multiply by the derivative of the denominator, and then we divide by v squared. So you don't have to know or understand or worry about why, but it is. Okay, and the shortcut is vu dash minus uv dash over v squared. Okay, so copy that and we'll look at some examples. Okay, so I've got two things being multiplied, so I'm going to use the product rule. And yes, if you wanted to, you could just expand it out, because it's pretty straightforward. And then just do the derivative, like normal. But we'll do it with the product rule. So, the first part we're going to call u, second part we're going to call v. So u equals 2x minus 1, so u dash equals 2. V equals x plus 3, so v dash equals 1. And you'll notice in the rule that they multiply by the opposite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cross in between, because these guys go together and these guys go together. So y dash will be 2x minus 1 times 1 plus x plus 3 times 2. Okay, and then just multiply out, so 2x minus 1 plus 2x plus 6, and then 4x plus 5. Now if we had done the expansion of 2x minus 1 x plus 3, and just sort of using the rainbow method that we've done since year 9 maybe, so we get 2x squared plus 6x minus 1x minus 3 equals 2x squared plus 5x minus 3, then the derivative would have been 4x plus 5, which is the same. Okay, so you can do expand the brackets, but with this one we're going to use the product rule. You wouldn't use the product rule unless you really had to, you were forced to do it. Okay, copy and come across. Okay, so let's have a look at another one. It's a product, but I've got powers involved, so I'm going to have to use the chain rule. Okay, so we're going to use a shortcut, so multiply by the 2, leave the bracket, subtract 1 from the power, multiply by the derivative, which is 1, and with the second one, multiply by the power, leave the bracket, subtract 1 from the power, and then multiply by the derivative of the bracket. Okay, and then we're going to put a cross in between, okay, because they go opposites. So y dash equals x minus 1 squared. Now 3 times 1 is 3. and then I've got x plus 5 squared, so that's the first part, and then it's a plus, see if I can squeeze it in, x plus 5 cubed, now 2 times 1 is 2, and now I've got x minus 1. Now what you do not do is do any expansions, we're just going to factorise. So there's some x minus 1s there, there's some x minus 1s there. So the lowest common factor is x minus 1 to the power of 1. Okay, I can't take out 2 of them because this one doesn't have 2 of them. Then I'm going to take out some x plus 5s because I've got x plus 5s here and I've got x plus 5s here. So the lowest common denominator, common factor between the two of them is x plus 5 to the power of 2. Because I've got 2 of them, I can't take 3 of them if I don't have 3 of them. Okay, so what I've done is I've factorised. Okay, so there's no more common factors. So now in my last bracket, I've still got one of these x minus 1s because I've only taken one of them. And I didn't use the 3, so I've still got to have the 3 in. Then I've got the plus sign. And I've still got one of the x plus 5s because I didn't use all 3 of them. I didn't use the 2. But I've used all the x minus 1s. Okay, so I've got x minus 1, x plus 5 squared, and then I've just got to tidy this up. So inside the bracket, 3x minus 3 plus 2x plus 10, which is 5x plus 7, and that's the last bracket. So the only thing you have to look out for, sometimes this bracket might have a common factor, which would have to be factorised out, but that didn't. So when you get these complicated ones with high powers, don't expand out, you actually factorise. So just to really make it clear. So the answer is that's the derivative, and you don't expand out. Okay, copy and come across. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of quotients. So the top line is u, the bottom line is v. So u dash is 2, v dash is 1. Now, you have to know what is first. It's going to be v times u dash, and it's a minus in between, u times v dash over v squared. Okay. So never expand out never expand it out, just leave the bottom as it is, and then we just tidy up the top. So we've got 2x plus 2 minus 2x, that's it, and then just finish it off with clean up the top line. So 2x minus 2x is nothing. Okay. So never expand out the denominator. Alright, done. Let's have a look at another example when you're ready. Come across. Oh, there's not. There's going to be a worksheet on Moodle. So that's it. Again, just looking at that one there, just remember if we had, say, 5 over x plus 1, we wouldn't use the chain rule. You could, but it's quicker just to make it 5 bracket x plus 1 to the minus 1 and then just use the chain rule. So you only use the quotient rule when you've got 2 parts, a fraction, and both parts have the letter x. And the worksheet will be on Moodle. Okay, thanks, bye.